Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of our EAFC 24 career mode. We returned today off the back of a very productive episode which saw us open up a 15-point gap at the top of the Serie A as we head into January in 2031. That will also see the start of the Italian Supercup as we host AC Milan in the semi-finals, as well as continuing with some more big games in the Serie A as we look to continue to stretch our lead at the top. We're also into the January transfer window, so we may see some activity in the transfer market as well. Let's dive straight into this first game. It is AC Milan in the semi-final of the Super Cup, which we won last year. Forza Juventus. I've got a bit of a mixed bag out, as hang on a minute. Oh, Gabriel, that's fantastic. The awareness from Gabriel Collins. And I was just going to say, I've got a bit of a mixed bag of players out there. A couple of starters, a couple of the sort of bench boys. And Gabriel Collins, one of the youngsters. And this is fantastic from him. Bakayoko, back to Jude. Looking for Johan once again. He might actually get there, Johan. He does. Fantastic from Bakayoko. Oh, that's brilliant. And Chiesa is denied as Bakayoko tries his luck. Hackney into Gavi. And now it's the Brazilian Anthony. Swings across in, dangerous ball. Kunde does well. It's loose. What a save by Desplanches. And he gathers up the loose ball as well. Fantastic from our backup shot stopper. Here's Hayden Hackney into Vaughan. Got quite a few Englishmen in their team. AC Milan. Vaughan, the right back, is a regen, and that's a good save again by Desplanches. They've obviously got Hayden Hackney and Calvert-Lewin in there as well, so quite a few English lads as Desplanches comes and gathers the corner. Now Martinelli, can we get a second on the break? Looking to take on Vaughan. He might just have the legs to get away. Martinelli comes back in field. Gabriel Martinelli sends us to the final. He was in fantastic form at the end of last episode. Off the bench here at the San Siro, and that will seal it. I said there might be another goal, and Gabriel Martinelli scores it. Well, as we have now arrived in January, you can see already just a few days into the window, we've had loads of offers for a lot of our star players, but I'm not looking to sell anyone. Roma want to take Vincenzo on a short-term loan, but I'm going to keep him here. And yeah, the rest of these guys aren't going anywhere, so going to turn all of these down. But we have had some more good news as we see Harry Matthews returning from his injury, and he will be back available for selection shortly. So a few more bids coming in here. Another for Lorenzo Parola. And a big bid from Aston Villa for Fabiano Parisi, both of which have been turned down. And also good news before we head into the Super Cup final as we see Ousmane Diomande also returning from his broken toe injury. So starting to get some of our players back. It is time for that Super Cup final against Napoli. We faced them in the semi-finals of this competition last year and defeated them by 2-1. And we are looking to retain the trophy. Forza Juventus. So of course, in just the 1.5 years that we've been in Italy, we have now developed a bit of a rivalry with Napoli. Faced them in the Coppa Italia and Champions League final at the end of last season. So this will be our third final against the club from Naples. We sold Joe Linton there in the summer transfer window of last season. So we've got a little bit of history, and they are actually in second place in the Serie A this season, having jumped above Bologna. So look like they will be our closest rivals for the title as well this campaign. End-to-end game this. Kvaratskhelia now coming the other way. And skipping away from Romero. Cross comes in, and Abdul Fatawu Isahaku dives in at the far post. Gets the run on his man and heads Napoli into the lead in the Super Cup. Well, second half underway here, and at half time Juventus yet to have a shot on the Napoli goal. So lots of work to be done in this second half. 20 minutes to play here, and I just cannot get the ball off Napoli. Just had a counter-attack a minute ago, but couldn't do anything with it. And Napoli just holding on to that ball. And here's Osimhen, brilliant feet, and just allow Jules Koundé to snap in. Now here's Adam Plojek. Jude Bellingham ahead of him, and Bellingham in behind. And Jude Bellingham levels it up for Juve. I think that might be our first shot of the game. And it's the captain, Jude Bellingham, who gets us back on level terms, and we could be heading for extra time. There is the final whistle, and Jude Bellingham's goal does send us to extra time. Probably the last thing both sides wanted with a fixture at the weekend. But we will have another 30 minutes and potentially a shootout to decide the Super Cup. Well, cheap corner given to Napoli. Nilos heads away strangely at the near post, and now we might spring on the break. Nilos looks for Gabriel Martinelli. And Martinelli comes infield. Gabriel Martinelli, straight at the keeper. Brilliant counter-attack from Juve, but didn't have the finish at the end. 15 minutes to go, or it's penalties. Bernardo, Dedic on the overlap. Could this be Juventus' chance to win it? Dedic down the right. Peg back to Nilos, blocked, and Klojek surely wins it for Juventus with just a couple of minutes to play. And Adam Plojek, who scored a brace off the bench against Napoli in the semi-finals of this competition last year, surely looks to have won it and put another dagger in the heart of Napoli. And that will do it. And Juventus do retain their Italian Supercup. Back-to-back winners of this competition since our move to Italy. My second time winning this trophy, and technically now my fourth with my stint at the club, if you include this as a major trophy. And Jude Bellingham will lift it for Juventus, your Super Cup champions for 2 years in a row. So after that Super Cup win, our attention turns back to the Serie A, and we're still yet to lose a game in any competition this season. So looking to continue that with a win here against Palermo. Forza Juventus. Jude Bellingham the captain, with Bakayoko ahead of him. Nice bit of skill from Johan. Vlahovic finds Plojek, and back to Dusan Vlahovic, who lets fly. Well, the second half is underway here. It's been a really tough game so far. Just the one chance that fell for Dusan Vlahovic from range that was well tipped around the post. And Palermo, as we often find against them, really tough to break down. And we're struggling to find any clear-cut chances so far. Richarlison into Ricardo Sotil. Good ball by the Brazilian. And Salis Abdul Samed into Richardson. And Richarlison lets fly. And this time Diogo Costa is equal to it. Richardson swings the corner in. Chiesa clears. It's not a very good clearance. And Costa's there again to turn the ball behind. Palermo just growing in confidence here. But Chiesa will pinch that back. And there's space for Jude Bellingham through the middle. And Jude sent away. It's the captain, Bellingham. And you know what the end result is. He does not miss them. Jude Bellingham bailing us out again. He did it in the Super Cup final against Napoli. And he's done it here in the league as he looks to guide this team to the Serie A title. Gets away from Charlie Creswell and bends it into the far corner to give Juve the lead. Late corner for Juve. Frenkie de Jong swings it in. Nilos attacking it. And Nilos off the bench makes it 2. That will seal it. Another 3 points for Juventus. And another goal for Nilos Kaya. Well, fair play to Palermo. That was another really, really tough game that we've had against them. And it took us until late on to break the deadlock through Jude Bellingham. Milos Kaya sealed the victory off the bench, doing what he does best. And it is another 3 points towards the Serie A title for Juventus. So up next, it's Torino, who we faced in just the previous episode, where we narrowly beat them by 2-1 thanks to a late Gabriele Martinelli winner. He's in the lineup today as we look to get another 3 points and move further clear the top of the Serie A. Forza Juventus. As I mentioned, our last clash with Torino was extremely tight. We were 1-1 heading into the final few moments as... Oh, hang on. Dusan! What a perfect start here as we go a goal up against our local rivals, Torino, our neighbours. And it's Dusan Vlahovic looking to win back-to-back golden boots in the Serie A, who slams us into the lead with a ferocious volley. What a start for Juve. All given away by Jude, and now Isak. Could be trouble here as Isak looks to burst his way through. Costa does well, and he gathers the loose ball. Fantastic from our Portuguese shot stopper. And Isak's touch was just a little heavy, which allowed Costa in. Now we look to come on the break the other way. Plojek into Dusan, sits up for him nicely, and it's Jared Branthwaite who's in the way of it. Former Blade. Corner swung in, looking for Dusan, and he gets ahead of Jared Branthwaite and scores his second of the game to double Juventus's lead. Isak looking to get his side back into this game. Parisi has to be careful in the penalty area. Oh, it's a brilliant flick, and Torino are back in the game. Despite a first half of constant pressure from Juve on the Torino goal, it's just 8 minutes into the second half. Mateus Cunha gets a goal back for our neighbours, 2-1. Well, the Torino tails are most certainly up at the moment. Isak lets fly, and Costa has to tip it away. Willock into Alexander Isak. Runs into Romero. And now the break could be on. Martinelli into Milos. And look at Matthews through the middle. On his return from injury. Harry Matthews in behind. Matthews! First involvement off the bench. After his 3-month layoff, the Welshman is back, and back with a bang. Well, that will do it in Turin, and it confirms the double over Torino. We were fantastic in that first half. We allowed them back into the game and had a couple of nervy moments. But Harry Matthews off the bench on his return from his 3-month layoff seals the victory for Juventus. And it's another 3 points and another game unbeaten as we march towards this Serie A title. Wow, big bit of transfer news here as we see Sheffield United coming in for that man of the moment, Harry Matthews. His former club trying to re-sign him, but I'm sorry, Sheffield United, as much as I love the story of him returning there, he's not going anywhere. He's too important for this team. Maybe one day in the future we'll both be reunited at Sheffield United. So more good news as we see Weston McKennie also returning from a 3-month broken toe injury. So all of our players getting back to fitness now, which is fantastic. Jumping straight into the next game is Atalanta away as we look to continue our unbeaten record in the Serie A. Forza Juve. So underway here against Atalanta, and they're a side that I generally have a very good goal scoring record against as we look to get Dusan in. Ooh, a little bit shaky at the back already. I'm feeling pretty confident about this because, as I say, I always seem to score lots of goals against Atalanta no matter what save it's in. Matthews will swing the corner in, back in the starting lineup today. Dusan attacks it and it's off the woodwork. Nearly another assist for Harry Matthews. But Dusan denied by the woodwork. And now Atalanta coming the other way. Trouble here as Brandon Soppy whips the ball in. Oh, and it's found a way in. Lorenzo Parola couldn't get anything on it. And it's the home side who take the lead despite the early pressure from Juventus. Well, this isn't a position that we found ourselves in very often this season. We are the top scorers in the league, so I do expect us to get chances. And speaking of, here is Matthews. Went for the dink as Lafont charged out and couldn't quite get it over the Frenchman. Oh, that's a good ball. We're in a lot of trouble here. A lot of trouble, and it's off the woodwork. And now it's in from Declan Rice. Well, Diogo Costa kind of found himself in no man's land there. And then when the ball rebounded out, he's second to it, and Declan Rice heads Atalanta into a 2-goal lead. And we have got a mountain to climb if we're to keep this unbeaten streak alive. Not counting our chickens just yet, because if we get the next goal in this game, we're right back into it. And here is Jude Bellingham doing exactly that. We've scored plenty of goals this season, and we knew that an early one here would get us back in the game. We've still got practically the whole second half to get another goal to get back into this. I'm feeling like Bayer Leverkusen at the moment. Well, I think it was last season we had a crazy game against Atalanta where I think we were 2 goals down. I don't think we were 3 down. But Ryan Shirky was fantastic, and we were definitely a couple of goals down as Matthews is denied. And we had to fight back in that game, and we managed it. And we're looking to do the same here. It's not the greatest of corners. It's headed away as we go in the hunt of that equalising goal. Bellingham fouled, but Dedic has it. And Dedic into the area. And Matthews, surely! And it's dropped in. Oh my goodness. I think it's an own goal. But Juventus are level. It's a poor finish from Matthews as Lafont dived across his goal. But somehow it's ended up in the back of the net. And Juve are back on level terms. I want to see exactly how this finds its way into the net. Lafont does brilliantly to get something on it. And then the defender just Superman dives into the ball and gets it over the line. Lamadi bowled out quickly by Costa. And Lamadi has Duranville out wide. And we know that Julian's got the pace. And Julian all the way across the box for Harry Matthews. And he will definitely be claiming that one. A second half turnaround from Juventus, and we now lead by 3 goals to 2. Well, there's been some turnaround once again from Juve, and we really are like Bayer Leverkusen. Especially against Atalanta, we always seem to find a way. Chance for a 4th here, and Raphael off the bench pokes it into that far corner. Not what he was brought on to do. But that will seal all 3 points, and Juventus will remain unbeaten in the Serie A. So big game here as we can extend the gap to 17 at the top of the Serie A, getting closer to the business stage of the season as we head through this sort of middle section, but a chance to move 17 clear as I mentioned. So a big test here against Fiorentina, sat just outside the European spots. Forza Juventus. Oh, what a run. Oh my goodness gracious. What a run. Is that Noah Okafor? This guy always scores against me. And I literally had just sat down to start playing the game. I'd not even started commentary. And he runs through both my centre-backs and then just smashes it into that top corner. Top bins it. And for the second game in a row, we find ourselves a goal down. And Jude. And there's Bakayoko onto his favoured left foot. Turn around the post as we go in the hunt for that equalising goal. De Jong's brilliant corner into Dusan. And just like he always does, the big Serbian scores against his former club and gets us back on level terms almost instantly. Pretty even game so far as the second half gets underway. at this stage of the season, we can afford a couple of draws. So I don't really mind too much if we're held to the odd draw here or there. But I do really want to try and keep this unbeaten streak alive. Of course, we had that undefeated season with Sheffield United in the Premier League. But I would love to do it again in the Serie A, as Klojek gives us the lead. And we'd be the first manager to ever win a league title undefeated in 2 separate countries. That would be some feat if we can pull it off. And we've put ourselves in a fantastic position to do so here with Juventus. Well, there is the final win here in Tuscany, and it's a fantastic win for Juventus. Fell behind again for the 2nd consecutive game in the Serie A, but fought back once more to pick up another 3 points. 22 games undefeated in the Serie A, and we move 17 points clear of Napoli at the top of the Serie A table. It's feeling as if it's going to be Juventus' season this time around as we edge ever closer to that Scudetto. So our Coppa Italia campaign kicks off now as we face Serie B side Ascoli. Of course, if we do want to win that unbeaten treble, then we cannot lose a single game in the Coppa Italia, or any competition, mind that. This is the first round we enter, and against Serie B opposition we should be targeting an easy route to the final 8 of the competition. Forza Juventus. Of course, we did go on to win the competition last year as well. Oh, what a save as Ambrosini denied. But yeah, I think we'll have enough tonight to get through to the next round. And I have got some reinforcements on the bench if needed, as Dybala tries his luck and hits the crossbar. Diomande out to Stefano. Nicely worked, and now Chiesa takes the ball in his stride. Chiesa away from his marker. Fede Chiesa absolutely smashes it home with the Trivela and gives Juventus the lead. One of the experienced heads selected tonight to help us get through to the final 8. And it's the 33-year-old who gives us the lead. That's nicely worked. Oh, I missed my tackle, and Ascoli level straight from kickoff. Well, I panicked a little bit with Parola, missed the tackle, and Ascoli hit back straight away through Mendes as Ranocchia finds Vincenzo, and now Carlo on the overlap. Does well, finds Ambrosini. Giuseppe smashes in at the near post. I always say with Ambrosini, doesn't feature a huge amount due to the fact that he's behind Nilos and Dusan, of course, in the pecking order. But when he does get minutes, he generally performs. I think that's his 2nd goal of the campaign. It's a lovely first touch away from the defender, and he smashes it in at the near post to restore our lead. Vincenzo does well winning the ball back. And Chiesa ahead of him. Round the corner to Bernardo Silva. And Bernardo finds Dybala, and now Ambrosini. It's a fantastic stop again. Chiesa, that's nice build up. And Dybala, oh, it's fantastic from the vets. And again, the Ascoli keeper keeping them in the game. Ambrosini's header is onto the defender, and I think Ascoli will just about clear. Oh, nicely worked. Ball played inside. And Desplanches at the near post makes the stop. Still alive for Ascoli, and it's just wide. Bernardo to Gabriel. Giuseppe. Now Ranocchia. Back to Ambrosini again, and Gabriel takes it in his stride, and this time seals the win for Juventus. And it's Gabriel Collins, the young Canadian, off the bench. Well, it's all over here in Turin. Fair play to Ascoli, the Serie B side. They gave it a real good go and had a couple of chances to get back into the tie. But it was Gabriel Collins off the bench who sealed it in stoppage time. to send Juventus to the final 8. So we're into transfer deadline day here, and we've just had a bid from Brighton for Diamande, but as I've already said, not looking to sell anyone, so all of these bids are going to be turned down. I do have one signing that I would like to bring in though with the money we've got left in the budget, and it's one for the future, as I'm looking to bring in Mattia Sala from Werder Bremen. A young 21-year-old Italian central midfielder. Just looks very, very solid across the board. He's probably not going to play much between now and the end of the season, but we can get him on quite a low market valuation deal, and I quite like the look of his stats, so let's bring in the young Italian. I'm going to go in with a valuation bid of 7.5. They want a 9% sell-on clause. That's absolutely fine, Werder Bremen. You can have that. So it's a 4-year, 30 grand a week contract for Mattia Sala. And as I say, he's more sort of one for the future. He's not going to get a huge amount of game time, but a young Italian prospect will bring him in and try and develop him for the future. For a low transfer fee of just 7.5 million, it seems like a good piece of business for Juventus looking forward. And I do really like the look of his stats. Very, very well balanced. And actually, before we close out the transfer window, I've got one more piece of business to attend to. Paulo Dybala is going to be offered a new 1-year extension, as I want to see him retire at the club, and it doesn't look like it's going to be the end of this season. So one more year should see him until the end of his career. Alright then guys, that will do it for transfer deadline day. As I say, quite a quiet one, as I don't want to make any major moves. And as we head into the beginning of February, you can see that we've got that 17-point gap at the top of the table, and we can actually extend that to 20 with a win against Sassuolo. Still undefeated with 20 wins and just 2 draws in our 22 fixtures in Serie A. It's looking nailed on for Juventus to be champions, but can we do a Bayer Leverkusen and complete an unbeaten treble? That will do it for today, guys, and I will catch you in the next episode of our FC24 career mode very soon. Peace.